Hi guys, and welcome back to Canada Top to Bottom. Today we're talking about the benefits of Canadian citizenship and why it's worth becoming a citizen even if you're already a permanent resident. About 86% of Canadian PRs, permanent residents, become citizens, which is a really high proportion, and there are some very good reasons why you should upgrade from PR to citizen once you're eligible.
Before we run down the reasons why you should become a Canadian citizen, let's briefly explain what a permanent resident is. A Canadian permanent resident has the right to reside in Canada, but they are citizens of another country. In our case, we are Canadian permanent residents, but we hold British citizenship. Our being Canadian PRs doesn't change our nationality, it just gives us the right to live and work in Canada and gives us access to the same social benefits as Canadian citizens, such as healthcare and education for our kids. It also gives us the protection of Canadian law and provides us with all the protections of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. This all sounds pretty good, right? Well, it is, but being a citizen would be even better. And once we've been here for the minimum 1,095 days, the equivalent of 3 years out of the next 5 years, we'll be applying for citizenship. Here's why.
First of all, it's much harder to lose citizenship than permanent residency, so you are much more secure in Canada. PRs aren't easily revoked, but you can lose yours if you commit certain crimes, including getting a DUI, driving under the influence of drugs or alcohol. You can also lose it for committing various other crimes or simply for not staying in Canada for the minimum amount of time required to maintain your permanent residency status, which is 730 days per 5 years.
Just think about it. You have an extra beer at a barbecue, get stopped by the police, and suddenly your right to live in Canada could be taken away. Similarly, you might need to go back to your home country to look after a relative for a prolonged period and suddenly not be able to return to Canada because you've not been in the country for enough days to maintain your PR status. Basically, PR is completely secure provided you don't commit any crimes or leave Canada for too long, but it could be revoked. On the other hand, you can only lose citizenship if you committed immigration fraud to get it, or you commit a very serious offence against Canada like treason or being involved with terrorism. It's not quite unheard of for citizenship to be revoked, but it's incredibly rare, and you'd have to do something pretty bad to lose it.
The next big factor is that citizenship gives you the right to vote, something that PRs don't have. As permanent residents, we can live in Canada for the rest of our lives, provided we renew our PR cards every 5 years and don't commit any serious crimes. But we have no say in how the country is governed. What's more, neither of us have any great political ambitions, but if we did, we'd also be prevented from running for political office because we're not yet citizens. If you want to have your say, whether that's at the ballot box or being on the ballot paper itself, you need to be a Canadian citizen.
The third big reason we'd like to become citizens is the ease of travel it provides. I'm not quite sure how this is measured, but a Canadian passport is judged to be the 7th best passport in the world to have, and holding one enables you to visit over 180 countries as a tourist without getting a visa. Now, we're lucky because we have European passports, which give us similar travel privileges, but not everyone has such a good passport. Even for us, it would be nice to travel in and out of Canada with a Canadian passport instead of always having to produce PR cards at the Canadian border. Luckily for us, dual citizenship is permitted in Canada, which isn't the case in every country, so Canadian citizens can also hold citizenship to other countries.
As well as greater opportunities for travel, having Canadian citizenship also offers greater work possibilities versus just having permanent residence. Canadian government jobs in defence or other areas which require high security clearance are only open to Canadian citizens. Basically, life in the public sector is easier and has more options if you're a citizen. This factor isn't really relevant to us, but the Canadian government employs a lot of people and pays them pretty well. So, for some people, the ability to work for the government could be a major factor in chasing their citizenship.
The final factor you might want to consider is that if you have kids when you're a Canadian citizen, then your kids inherit your citizenship. PRs who have kids in Canada will receive all the healthcare and medical treatment that a citizen would, but their children won't automatically become citizens of Canada. Once you're a citizen, you can pass on that to your kids, even if you weren't originally born a Canadian citizen.
So there you have it. If you want greater stability, the right to vote and travel freely, access to all jobs in the Canadian government, or the right to go and produce some Canadian kids of your own, you need to become a citizen. We'll be going through the citizenship process at some stage ourselves, so we'll be making some videos about it when the time comes. Sadly, we've got a couple of years still to go until we're eligible for citizenship, but for now, we're very happy just living in this great country. We'd love to hear your journey to Canadian citizenship, so tell us your stories in the comments section below. But first, hit that subscribe button if you want high quality videos about Canada every Wednesday and Sunday. And see you next time.